ACCA versus CPA. Now, आपने ये सुना है कि दोनों global chartered accountancy courses तो है, but what are the difference between these two qualifications? Where do they originate? What kind of jobs do they have? What's the content of the entire curriculum? And which is the right qualification for you? Come, let's answer all these questions today. ACCA versus CPA. ACCA basically is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Now, this is the CA of the UK, okay, headquartered in the UK but having students in more than 178 countries across the world, India being a very big consumer of ACCA. On the other hand, CPA is basically the chartered accountancy in the US. Okay, it's awarded by a body called the AICPA, which is the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. And this is, like I said, the CA of the US. The focus area of ACCA is global business and finance, where you will learn subjects like financial reporting, which is IFRS, performance management, which is costing, financial management, auditing, strategy, business, and leadership, right? Versus CPA, the focus is accounting, auditing, regulations and taxes from a thorough US perspective. Number 3, let's understand the eligibility. So ACCA typically can be done after grade 10, but most students in India land up doing it after grade 12 alongside graduation. But you can also start ACCA after graduation or CA inter. So there are various routes available. On the other hand, CPA can only be done after graduation and in most cases after 4 years of graduation, which means after 16 years of education is when you can begin your CPA. ACCA traditionally has 13 papers spread across knowledge, skills and professional level, but in a lot of cases students are available for exemptions and they get exempted from certain papers and they therefore land up doing the balance papers. On the other hand, CPA has typically 4 papers to do. Now let's look at the cost of these courses. The cost of pursuing ACCA is anywhere between 4 to 4.5 lakhs. This includes the fees paid to the professional body, which is registration, exams and the coaching fees. On the other hand, the cost of doing CPA is also anywhere between 4 to 5 lakh of rupees. Now, if you talk about job roles, ACCA opens up job roles in a host of functions. So you become an expert at IFRS. Accounting advisory, of course, is the heart and soul of the qualification. You can look at roles in auditing, which is stat audit, internal audit, forensic audits. Then you can look at roles in management consulting, strategy, environmental and social governance, risk, corporate finance, so a host of these areas, whether in Indian companies or multinational companies across the world. And you can look at jobs in India and other countries like UK, Dubai, Singapore, Canada. These are typically hubs where you have ACCA students getting employed. On the other hand, if you look at CPA roles are focused on American accounting and compliances, right? So anything to do with accounting, auditing, regulatory, taxes, with a very heavy focus on American companies. So if you're looking at traveling to the US or if you're looking at working in any American back offices across the world, that is where CPAs will find application. Now, what do ACCAs and CPAs earn in India? So if you look at ACCA students, if you've completed your 13 papers fresh out of college, you can look at packages about 5 to 6 lakhs. And as soon as you add 3 years of experience and become an ACCA member is when you can look at packages upward of 8 to 10 lakhs. On the other hand, if you look at CPA, the starting packages in India would be about 6 to 7 lakhs. But having said that, if you decide to work abroad, so if you decide to work in US, UK or Singapore or any of these hubs, of course the figures are much higher depending on the economy, the demand and the currency. Now lastly, let's look at the timeline involved. So to do an ACCA, it typically takes anywhere between 2.5 to 3 years alongside your graduation. Whereas to do CPA, it takes anywhere between 12 to 15 months, but you can only start it after you finish your graduation. Now, if you have more questions on ACCA or CPA and you want to start your professional journeys, please feel free to reach out to us on the numbers flashing and we are very happy to help.